Oh man.
We don't know how to start the podcast, but welcome to Bodega Nights. Today I'm starting the podcast. This is Norm. You've got Martin. You've got Joao. I don't know if I'm actually pointing at them when you see the video, but
Me neither.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was really
Whoever's
cool. Though,
recording.
Whoever's recording.
recording.
All right. So
Joao, I
since
gotta
I'm
ask
recording,
then,
right? I am on
where
the
are you
right,
located?
top right.
Upper right?
Yeah, Martin, you
Or
are next to me on the
you're
left, and then Norm
okay.
is on the
I'm
bottom.
on the bottom.
Yeah.
You're bottom. You're the bottom.
We are
Okay.
we are standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah. Oh
Is
man.
that another way to call me fat? I know I gained weight over the quarantine, man.
Hey, I gained weight too, and I'm Percival. I'm Martin. Yeah.
But more importantly, recently we just finished a 9-9 sale
Yeah,
of-
dude. How much did you not how much you spend, but what was Lazada able to get from you? What did you get from
Oh, I've
Lazada?
been.
Yeah.
You're listening to it right now. The thing I Lazada.
Ooh.
The one
No.
thing
Oh,
I
wow.
got from
Okay.
Lazada.
Mike,
Lazada
nice.
fried
Alright.
from my cold dead hands.
All right.
This mayo no Mike.
Right.
How much is that?
It's about 3,200 pesos. Pesos.
That's actually good. That's a
Uh,
good price.
I mean, better than
It's
Yeah.
better than my previous one, yeah.
The last one.
you
Which
know,
was
like,
about that's $170.
oh my god, dude. What was it? The mic that I used to use, and this is terrible, right? Because I lent it to one of the other teachers. Was
Okay.
about $150 or something, because those were the only like mics that were good and available at the time.
Oh, how
It's
about
like
nice?
right, and then after that, I got this thing, the one that I'm using
Samsung?
for the backup recording. Yeah, the Samsung's Q2U, the one that
So like
Martin
me.
got, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And
We got
that's
it
so
for
cheap.
we got it for about $50, right? Something like $50,
Yeah.
and it came with a headset or
$50
something.
with a headset.
I
And
remember
it's now like 100 something. Like it's such
Well-
a really good mic, USB and XLR. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's because of the work from home and the school from home, obviously. And
Yeah.
people want to make their own podcasts now. Shout outs to Podcast Network Asia for their first year anniversary last month.
congrats,
I'll
you
reach
guys.
7.
Congrats, I guess. Congrats, I guess.
So
Congrats.
Oh man, I really
Congrats, Rob.
really do hope that they like I really do hope that they take off, because like the rising tide raises all ships, right? So
No,
Yes, like no, jokes aside, I'm happy that they did it. I mean, Norm and I went there last year. Remember, Norm? And we met an old friend who I never remembered until you told me during the ride home. If you know who I mean, that lady.
If you're just listening now, you might not know that I have a horrible, horrible memory. So whatever Martin just said, I don't remember.
Basically, last year, Norm and I and a couple of my friends went to the Podcast Network Asia meetup thing. It was at Metro Walk, that place where we met, Norm, after so long. And then we met a very old
Right.
friend that I never saw the face of until that day, who apparently played COD with us. Maybe just once or twice, but not every time. Yeah.
You know what, dude? You just
We
made it
spent
even
like
harder,
that
because
one year.
I don't remember anybody we ever played Call
A
of Duty with
specific
apart from
COD
each
game.
other, you know? What?
Yeah, you had to remind me
Right.
it was just a specific COD game because she was dating someone. Anyway, yes.
So anyway, guys, before we get
9-9.
distracted while
9-9,
trying
yeah,
to figure
distracted. Yeah, who it was.
9-9.
I forgot
The
who
most
it
important
was.
thing about the whole mic thing is not necessarily the
9-9.
price, although that is also great. You can get USB mics for 1,600 pesos and above.
Okay.
But most importantly, you can get it just at Lazada. When we started this thing, we had to get it shipped from abroad.
Yeah.
or we
Yeah,
had to make do
dude.
with the options
Yes.
that were available in the one market, in the one shop in all of Robinson's Galleria
Hell
or all
yeah.
of Manila, diba? The one
Hell
audio
yeah.
shop with a USB mic.
D1 audio shop.
What was
I
it?
didn't even know that exists.
China wasn't an
Not
option then.
Galleria.
China wasn't an
China
option
wasn't enough.
then.
Now that everybody's doing their manufacturing in China, China now knows how to make USB mics. So
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
I mean, they aren't very good though. I'm going to say, like,
Yeah.
Yes.
what's it? Like this, the microphone that I'm using for the Zoom call is it isn't one of those cheap Chinese mics. I mean, it is a cheap mic that is kind of made in
Okay.
China or whatever, but it isn't like one of those cheap BM800s that you find. Um,
All
I
right.
actually have like a couple of those. The XLR is really good. The USB is kind of weird. Like, it's 50-50 on whether or not my voice is going to sound like really low. Like,
Or really high.
So
never really high, right? It's just really weird. It could be like the USB cable or something, right? But
Yeah.
the USB powered BM8 or the USB BM800, I'm not that happy with. But the XLR one is all right. Like, we actually use that in reputable media company for some of the stuff that we do.
Oh, will reputable media company have a podcast again soon?
I have no idea.
Okay, just asking. Speaking of reputable, well, it's not reputable. Apparently,
speaking of
what
not
do I say?
reputable,
Yeah, apparently a forest fire was started because of a gender reveal.
smooth,
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
smooth. All right, all right, all
And
right. I
reputable
actually
media
asked
outlets
Martin
were
this.
talking about that.
All right, let's go.
There we go. The reputation's there. Okay, so
Let's start talking about outrage stuff.
Yeah. First and foremost, I'm
beyond
like,
beyond the gender reveal. That's how do you? I was like, I can't believe that the biggest forest fire of the month, the year, in California right now was supposed to be started by a gender reveal. How
Norm,
do you do a gender reveal so wrong?
when you use pyrotechnics and you're near a freaking forest, it's like saying, this is why Smokey the Bear says to young Americans, do not smoke near freaking forests because the smallest bit of ash, smallest bit of something like that can start a fire can just do that. And this ain't even just a cigarette. This is a
right,
pyrotechnic
well-
that might have, went to that forest direction.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which is bigger, man. So I'm like, gee, I wonder
All
why.
right, all right. I guess it just sounds bad because the experts have said that it's the dry season right now, so any tiny incendiary thing
Yes.
could have created this wildfire that's going on right now. It just so happened to be
A gender
a
reveal.
gender reveal.
And
Yeah.
it
And
goes,
you know what's the worst thing about it? We still don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
well,
It's orange flames in California. What does that mean? What gender is it?
it might be Guy Fieri. Remember the guy who talks about Flavor Town? is orangey or something?
fail-
I don't know.
Guy Fieri is
With
a gender
the
now.
American
Fieri.
cooking.
Yeah,
Guy Fieri is a gender.
our baby's Guy
Kid's
Fieri.
born. The kid is born with frosted tips.
You know why it needs to be frosted? Because it started a forest fire. Okay, that's very insensitive, but at the same time, I'm like saying, you saw the article. This is not the first time it happened, right? 3 years prior, a gender reveal thing kind of set a forest fire in Arizona. We saw that in the news article.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
we
I don't know.
actually checked the news article
We
like 5
checked the
minutes
news
ago.
article. And then a
Alright,
couple
alright.
of reputable media sources also talked about how a gender reveal stunt caused a plane accident because it was flying low altitude, and it kind of crashed because it was spewing out, dumping 350 gallons of pink water to reveal the gender is female. And here's where I'm not outraged at. Here's where I'm getting nitpicky. Gender reveal parties. But gender does not reveal your reproductive organs. So why not just call it sex reveal party?
because
Or
that doesn't sound as
Is the S word what? So not safe for work?
I
Did I
guess
just
it sounds
say?
kinky if you make it a sex
yeah,
reveal party.
yeah,
Like
Okay.
people might go there without clothes.
yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. All right, fine.
It's but yeah,
The term gender is
Going back
just
into the
it's not
PG-13
even that.
territory.
Okay, going
it's
back to PG-13
what's it though?
territory.
Just to clarify what Martin was saying, right? Diba, ano, it's now more widely accepted that the difference between sex and gender is sex is what you find in between your legs, and gender is what
Yes.
you find in between your ears,
Yeah.
right?
Some
I
would
mean,
argue that it's their
That's a
biological
good
difference.
description of it, Joe.
That's a better description though.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it that way, but it's a good description.
the way that it's used is your gender is how you identify, while your
Yes.
sex is like your biological makeup, right?
Logical makeup. And it also is messed up because there are certain people or certain sect of our population that has both genitals, so that's gonna be complicated. How would you reveal that in a gender reveal party?
An orange forest fire, Martin, is how.
I guess we know now.
I think we
I
figured
think we
it
figured it
out.
out.
Surprise! It's a fire.
Surprise!
But
Kaboom!
then there is a what's it? There
But
was
for
a high
me,
profile like Supreme Court case in the Philippines about somebody that had
yeah,
both sex organs. Uh,
it's similar to the one that has a very small sex organs. That's why they got divorced. That best the favorite the favorite case of freshman students.
Is
yeah,
it the
yeah,
favorite case of freshman law, Joe?
yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody that's
Everybody
taken
goes through it.
everybody that's taken the family law class remembers the Chiming Choi case.
Jimmy
And
Choi. Jimmy
they
Choi.
it was a psychological
But did you
incapacity case.
die?
It was
What?
it was a psychological incapacity case because the Supreme Court was defining annulment by reason of
Small
psychological
piggy.
incapacity.
Small.
Now, what the case what the argument for the annulment was, the dude couldn't the dude wasn't able to consummate the sexual act with his wife,
Okay.
and his contention was this was psychological incapacity. And so what the Supreme Court or what the court said was, all right, so go and have some sort of test done to show that it is indeed psychological and not physical incapacity, right? And so he had a test done, and they said that his penis
Martin's
grew
breaking up in
from an
laughter.
inch to 2 inches. And
Woo!
because he was physically capable of an erection, his incapacity to perform the sexual act with his wife is psychological in nature. Because
Okay.
yeah, he was able to get he was able to essentially double his penis size from like an inch to 2 inches. He was physically capable of getting an erection, but psychologically incapable of getting an erection when with his wife.
The wife, yeah. Wife can't get him hard.
Ooh.
Right? So it was therefore his psychological incapacity to perform one of the acts proper to marriage that was the reason for the annulment.
Yep.
Wow.
Ah,
Interesting,
best
no?
case ever.
And
Yeah.
that was one of the landmark cases. Everybody remembers it because of the dude's penis size, but the principle there nga, is it's he was physically
Great,
capable but
Martin.
psychologically incapable. Right?
Incapable.
Yeah.
All right.
Going
That's
back
ano
to
pala, that
PPs,
could be
yeah.
grounds pala for annulment. That I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Yung psychological incapacity has often been called the Philippine substitute for absolute divorce. Because the definition of psychological incapacity is something like You're the the spouse for psychological, I don't know, for reasons psychological or something, are unable to perform the rights and duties of somebody being married or of somebody married. I've heard of some cases where you had somebody that was addicted to gambling, and that was used as grounds for an annulment, which was granted by the lower court, because you are supposed to provide for your family, right? And if you have an addiction to gambling,
Mm-hmm.
then you logically cannot fulfill the duty of supporting your family because of your psychological incapacity to stop gambling. Something like that. I think that was like the argument, and I think that that actually made it through the lower court. I don't know what happened when it was appealed to the appeals court, but at least the lower court saw it that way, which was quite interesting.
Lawyers in our comments,
Yeah, man.
feel free to
Feel
confirm
free to
what
comment.
happened.
Um,
Uh, and on that
there are
note,
others.
we do have, if you like our content so far,
Oh, what's up?
feel free to follow us on our YouTube, subscribe. Now we've got video now.
Yeah, we got
We're on
video.
Spotify for some reason.
We're on Spotify.
And we have a Patreon. If you'd actually like to support us financially,
that
that would be great. Keep
would
the
be
website up and
nice.
running.
Yeah,
Yes,
actually.
I mean we need website money, man. We need that.
The
Money.
Joao's neon lights don't come cheap.
Like,
I mean,
look, it's not
we
even
even
lit up right now. It's on off.
well, they're made in China, so it isn't that expensive.
Okay,
Speaking of China,
then
have you guys watched Mulan?
the animated movie. Yeah, when I was a kid. Yeah,
I have not, but that's not
Okay.
necessarily
Or the new
because
one.
of the boycott.
Yeah,
me neither. It's I don't know. It
I
just has
haven't
a lot
watched it.
of red. Yeah.
I haven't watched of the what is that $30 on Disney Plus thing?
yeah,
Not
yeah.
not a
The
Disney guy, man. Are you a Disney fan?
But also I don't have Disney Plus, so
yeah, we don't have
I haven't
Disney
watched
Plus,
it.
Yeah.
which is why I have no like moral quandary when it comes to pirating it, because I can't
I
pay for
think
it.
I think this country has Disney Plus,
We got a
but
podcast to run. That's where our money goes to.
do
This
I
mic
have
was
the
not
time?
cheap. Exactly.
Yeah. But guys, I need to ask, between you two, are you guys big Disney fans? Big enough fans to even buy a Disney Plus? I'm a WWE fan. I'm not even buying the WWE network.
Well, yeah,
First
I
and
mean,
foremost,
The Mandalorian. Come on.
but aside from that, what
I
else are you
haven't
gonna
seen
get Disney Plus for?
The MCU TV shows.
You can get that on Netflix or something else.
No,
No,
they're not
Not
gonna
anymore.
release it on
They're,
Netflix.
they're
No,
now
they're
on
not.
Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they're-
the new ones, the new Captain America show, the new
Scarlet
Okay.
Witch and
Scarlet Witch
One
show.
Division.
Okay, are they
The
out
new
now?
Hawkeye show.
Not yet.
Not yet, not yet.
Then
They're gonna come out soon-ish.
I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna get it until that's done. Like one
I mean,
season.
it isn't even available in the Philippines. I mean,
Yeah,
sure, like
it's
with
not
you
even
guys in
available,
Brazil,
right? Maybe I don't
Do you
even
have
know
it in
if it's
Brazil?
available here.
Right?
Let me check. Because right now we got Crunchyroll, we got Netflix, we got Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I mean, we have
Brazil,
that here as well. We have
Disney Plus.
my girlfriend has like an HBO Go or Plus
Go.
or
Yeah.
one of those, right? Like
It may be.
All I got is
29
Netflix girlfriend.
yeah,
It
Right.
may arrive in Brazil for $5.41.
that's not bad, dude.
But remember, in
I
Mulan,
gotta
you have
ask-
to add $30. So I'm like, you already have Disney Plus, then you're gonna spend additional $30?
Yeah, I mean, if you have like a family of four, instead of going to the movies and spending $20 per ticket for a total of 80, you just pay the $30 and your entire family of four can watch it for less than what you would have paid if you had gone to a cinema.
Okay, because for $30, that's like how much in pesos right now? At
How much
48
is
per
that's
dollar.
That's
about
1,500 pesos.
1,500? Yeah.
Okay, for 1,500
That's the price of
pesos,
Jao's
it's
mic.
like you're watching. That's the
Yeah.
price of like watching it on THX or whatever there.
How much is cinema? How much were movie tickets before like this whole pandemic hit? About 300 pesos, right?
About 300 to yeah, about 300 pesos. Let's say
About
it's
300
on the
Okay.
pesos.
expensive end, 250 to 300. Yeah.
Right now you
This
have
is
mom, dad,
SM
and three
400
kids.
ako eh.
Yeah, but just
400
let's
pesos
say
yung spend ko eh.
yeah. So let's just say
You're
mom,
paying
dad, three
for a movie
kids.
ticket for 5 people.
Yeah.
But what if you're alone and you gotta pay $30 additional from your Disney Plus? I'm like,
Then watch it in the cinema.
yeah, like I'll just watch it in the cinema, which is cheaper when
Wear
it
your
releases in
mask,
our. Uh,
sanitize,
Yeah, wear
yeah,
your
there's
mask.
cinemas aren't even
face
allowed here
shield.
yet.
Yeah.
Ironically, they're not allowed here yet, but freaking malls are. Freaking everything else are, except schools. I don't know. It's
I mean,
we're hitting four
it's also
million,
gonna
And we're
guys.
back to COVID hour, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, back to Mulan. I don't get the point of a
and we're done
thirty
with COVID.
dollar. I don't get the additional 30 US dollar thing for a movie when you already subscribe to Disney Plus, unless because Walt Disney and Disney are effing capitalists about this.
Because movies don't pay for themselves.
Yeah, Martin,
That's right. Yeah,
you gotta pay
that's true. Good
salaries
point.
and rights and
Rights and
actors and
people,
crews
yeah, crews and the
and
government
the
that
special effects
persecuting Hong
budget
Kong. Yeah.
and
And the
half of that is
Uyghurs,
marketing to
the
Yeah. Oh my
Mongol.
god. You know that
God,
what was
that's
it?
just a
What
messy
was it?
situation.
And they usually recoup this in cinemas,
Yeah,
right? And
and
since there
merch. But
aren't
yes,
any,
merch.
yeah.
merch.
Well, yeah, and because there aren't any cinemas now, then they had to find a
They're
way to
not
release it.
spend, and they ain't spending on cinema fees because there's no cinemas releasing
What
this.
cinema fees? It's the cinemas that pay Disney.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa!
yeah.
They get like an insane chunk of the first week revenue or the first 2 week revenue of any
Holy
film.
smokes!
If you
Yeah.
wanna show Avenger, you gotta pay
Okay.
Disney
I mean, that's how
more
it works.
percentage of income.
That's how it works.
Yeah, even like with your Warner Brothers and all of
Yeah,
those
dude.
studios, they get a cut of movie sales. They get a cut of whatever cinema makes for the first week, and I think it's like an insanely high amount, which is why popcorn is really
Whoa.
expensive in cinemas because that's how the cinema makes money. The cinema
That's how
doesn't
they
make
break
money.
even.
Yeah,
Popcorn and sodas.
yeah, popcorn and
Popcorn
soda. The
sodas.
cinema doesn't make money on ticket sales. They make money on
The
concessions.
tickets.
So it's that the reason why certain cinemas before like Shang are strict that you can't buy anything else outside of their floor or the cinema area.
Yes, because they have to pay the studios to
Ah.
show the movie in their cinema.
Oh, clever bastards. And this is why we hide our other foods in our bags and they can't even see it.
Yeah, but this like I remember when like Shang and all of that were really strict about it. I was like, yeah, of course, because they aren't making money off of ticket sales. They're making money off
Yeah.
of the overpriced popcorn that they're selling us.
Yep.
The reason SM was able to come in and
Although
be all like, "Oh,
arguably,
look at us, we're the good guy," blah blah blah. Well, that was because they could afford to have their cinemas work at a loss.
Yeah.
yeah, because
And
their reasoning for it would probably be because the people don't go just to watch the cinema. Afterwards, they're gonna get lunch, they're gonna buy stuff,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they're gonna go home.
And besides, they also get rent from those establishments anyway.
yeah. So I mean,
So
And most of
like,
their money comes from the rent
yeah.
or advertising.
Rent. You're gonna get the rent if you fix this damn door.
yeah. So I mean, like that's why when that was a big
Yeah.
issue, that was like one of those things. Like people are being outraged about the wrong thing. They
Thank
they should
God
be
it didn't
outraged that
happen now. Gender reveals
Well,
that cause forest fire.
I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, going back to Mulan, I watched the first 15 minutes of it, and I was like,
How is it?
ugh, this is. I really enjoyed that
This is
movie.
not your childhood.
No, I mean, I really enjoyed Black Panther, but
Okay.
it
Black
made me
Panther?
wonder. Yeah, Black Panther. It made me wonder that about people that lived on the African continent, how they felt about seeing and well hearing
That
uh,
representation.
yeah, hearing like Chadwick Boseman um, speak in that accent, because like when you as somebody that is well, I teach at a Chinese Filipino school, so you know
Okay.
I do get to hang out with a lot of like Chinese people. We bring in teachers from the mainland to teach Chinese, and so like I know what a Chinese person speaking English sounds like, and that isn't it. You know, like
What does
you
it
can
sound like?
tell. Well, it definitely wasn't what it was in Mulan. You can sort of tell that this is very much China through the lens of the West. And I was like, I can't watch this, you know, because it didn't feel like it didn't feel like an accurate representation of well China, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
But who's going to
I
give
don't
you
know,
that accurate representation of China? China?
China, yeah, they have
You're,
like
you're gonna
they
trust
have
the Chinese? You're gonna trust Beijing to give you an accurate representation of China,
I'm gonna trust Beijing to give me an accurate
a better one
representation of
than
Mulan,
Disney. Shh. All right, all right, all right.
right?
Oh,
Because this is
Mulan.
after all like
Mulan.
an
Yeah.
old, this is an
A
old Chinese
Chinese
what was it, right? This is an old Chinese epic
mythology
poem
or
or something,
something.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like
Yes.
you know it's yeah,
Okay,
that
yeah.
is
I
me.
mean, I'll give you that. They're definitely gonna be a more accurate version than Disney, sure.
Yeah, and I don't know about
It's
I don't know if accurate is the right word, but it just didn't it just felt very off. This is what Edward Said probably felt like when he was talking about like Orientalism. You know, like the
Who's
way
that guy
the
again?
Orientalism, the way the West views the East, dude.
Oh yeah. White man's burden again. Fuck no. Sorry.
No. Edward Said was the dude that said "fuck the white man's burden." Edward Said put forward
Amen.
this school of this framework of looking at the world that was based around how the West views the East's art. And what he was saying was something like, "This is not how academic research on, or this is not how academia should be viewing the work of the East. We shouldn't be viewing the East from the lens of the West." And this is exactly what we're seeing here, right? So that was his Orientalism. This is like an early 20th century thing, I think. So
Nice.
you know, this
Can
was
I
sort of
add on
like
to that?
we might not like think of it like feminism, except instead of like women, it's the East.
But yeah, we have been seeing that. It's also correlated to white feminism as well. Remember a meme a few months back? It's a manga character, a Japanese character that looks like a kid and has big breasts, but she's actually in her 20s. And Western people correct her animation to correct her body type. And they're like, saying because there's no one in Japan that has big breasts and as small as that. And then I'm like, wait, but have you been to Japan? Have you seen the body types of Japanese or Asians? There are people who have that kind of body type. It's another form of West of the one you just said, Orientalism.
You know,
It's the girl with the skirt,
we might not necessarily be in the best position to talk
the
about.
best position to talk about that.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the West being the West
oh no,
again,
no,
man.
you can't, you can't.
Oh no, no, okay.
Right? But there, no,
We
But
need a
it's a
weeb.
good point to make, Joao.
We miss
It's a
Miko
good
for
point to
this.
make.
Yeah. Amen.
I don't know.
Amen. So
I wouldn't necessarily recommend watching it though. But if there's
so
one
it's
thing
not
that was
yeah.
really cool
Pero we
about
get
the,
we
no, go ahead. No.
Oh no, go no.
Ay, oh, okay. Sige. I was going back to expounding the point of how as yes, if we're boiling it down to it's basically somebody else selling your story to somebody to another person and you're right there. Diba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parang he's like 100% right.
Yeah.
and he's gonna say it from how he understands it, not how it actually happened
Yeah. I
from
mean,
your word.
yeah. I mean, that's why like I'm not saying that it's bad. No, like
Right.
I'm just it just wasn't something that I really enjoyed.
Uh,
Um, I wanted it, and this is I wanted it to be something like that movie Hero.
what's Hero again?
Hero, the
This
that Chinese propaganda movie.
Jet Li?
Oh right, yeah,
Of
the Bruce
Jackie
Lee
Chan.
one. Bruce
It
Lee.
wasn't Bruce Lee.
Sorry, it was.
I can't remember who was in it, but the Emperor dude had this like Chinese characters or whatever like above him,
Jet
and they were all
Li.
like, it
The,
looks like it
the
says
Chinese
ass.
sword.
It looks like it says
Donnie
Yeah,
ass.
Yen.
That one,
that
yeah,
movie.
yeah. It was a really
It's the
good. It
movie
was really
with the
good.
three colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the same in they had the color code for which one was truth and which one was a lie. Not
yeah. It was. It was. I was expecting something that good, but I don't know. Um, it's Disney. That's it, man. It's a Disney fight. Um,
Yeah.
but if I will credit Mulan for doing one thing though, and it's the same thing that the Nobel Peace Prize has done. Y'all remember when Obama won the Peace Prize? That was a very
Yeah.
divisive thing, and now that Trump is like has been nominated for the Peace Prize, it's done one thing. It's united people on both sides saying that the Peace Prize is just full of crap
Yeah.
because they were like, "What? How can Obama win it? He war with Syria."
ah,
And then people from the other side is like, what has Trump done for peace? And so like it managed to bring people together against the Peace Prize, which is kind of the point of the Peace Prize. But Mulan kind of did the same thing, right? Because it pissed off a certain group of people that were all like, oh, Hong Kong, blah 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 blah. And at the same time, it also pissed off another group of people that don't like Mary Sue characters because apparently Mulan is Mary Sue. I have no idea. Um, so like apparently, in my mind, Mulan has brought together these odd bedfellows again. So that's pretty cool. I'll give them
Nice.
that, right? Um, because apparently, I was watching a YouTube video about like Mulan, right? He said that what was it? The person that was doing the video essay said something along the lines of the problem with Mulan 2020 is that it undermines the quote unquote feminist ideas of the old one in the sense that it wasn't Mulan's uh, it wasn't Mulan being a powerful woman in this film because that's what the original Mulan was, right? It was Mulan being like this kick-ass girl that could hang with the guys while at the same time still retaining her being feminine and at the same time like the dudes embracing a more feminine, less sort of toxic masculinity, machismo sort of thing towards the end. With this current iteration of Mulan, the problem with it was that Mulan was strong with the chi to begin
strong with
with.
the what?
Strong with
What's wrong with the chi?
strong
Is it
in chi,
the
chi.
that thing? That thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So she's got like the chosen one kind of
yeah.
thing,
She's got like a chosen one sort of vibe, right? Like she was strong in the force, right? Um,
right?
and so it wasn't the
The
hard work
force
of a
chi,
woman, right? It wasn't the hard work of a woman that got them to win that war. It was because she was
destiny.
yeah. It was another
She was
freaking destiny
chosen.
story which undermines
Open
her
your
being the
mouth,
woman that made it. Because if you weren't special,
chosen one.
then
Chosen
you're
one.
not going to save China.
But
Yeah,
that
that
is
was the
always
problem
a
with it,
narrative of mythology as
That is
well.
problematic, Joe.
right?
That is
Like
problematic.
it undermined it. I wouldn't know. I didn't watch the film all the way through, but seeing that video essay, I'm like, yeah, I remember the first 15 minutes talking about like how Mulan was supposedly strong with the Force or whatever. So
The force. Okay.
I'm 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 I'm, I'm I remember the old animated Mulan because I did not see the new one. I
Me
remember the
neither.
old animated Mulan, and I remember it's like thinking that the captain must have gone through some real emotional struggles there, trying to figure out how this man, this he's slowly falling for what he believes to be a man soldier who's doing great. Yeah,
Yeah.
who's doing great in his army, and then surprise reveal, it's a girl. Like just cut him falling straight for the girl. Like that's some gender identity questioning, man.
Yeah. I
Yes.
wonder what the fire would have been.
Right. Throughout that montage of defense, he falls in love for Mulan, who was timed disguised as a dude, and he completely falls for it. He's falling in love for this dude, and
Yeah,
surprise
man.
reveal, it's a girl.
Dude,
Oh,
you're
dude.
not a dude. Oh,
In
thank
the
God.
90s, there was a little bit of that queer thing going on as well.
Yeah.
Mulan, ahead of its time. Pretty good movie. And
Yeah.
had a dragon. They did away with the dragon.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
no
On
dragon.
screen, I saw with Mulan with fiery wings. Sorry, spoiler alert.
A what now? A fiery what?
Her chi showed up as fiery or something. But there was one screen that I saw. And people were like, nope, not. And it was just Mulan with flaming wings
Yeah.
as the chosen one.
I thought it was like that really on the nose scene from the last episode of Game of Thrones with Daenerys and like the dragon coming up from behind her. We're like, yeah, we get it.
Oh.
It's like Queen of Dragons, yeah. It's like she's got
All
wings.
black.
Ooh.
It's black and red.
Yeah,
Horrible
by the
writing
way,
for the last season.
yeah. By the way, we got a little bit of feedback from our episode last week about the
Oh.
Philippines thing, man.
Feedback.
Yeah, man, pretty cool. Dude from
finally got-
Virginia. Yeah, man. From Virginia, he says that a Filipino American from Virginia. I would like to share my
Virginia!
perspective, since a lot of my friends here are into the Philippine X movement. I think the core issue of that is Filipino Americans born here or moved to the US when they were young. They have an identity crisis. It seems like some of our parents here, relative to the Latino community, didn't really share their culture to their children. They don't speak the language, they're confused, like they act white, black, or Latino due to their friends, and they kind of bandwagon on other cultures. So as a result, especially the Generation Z generation, they started bandwagoning too on the Latinx movement. Most Latino Americans here speak Spanish, and they realize their language is sexist AF with male and female words, so they wanted to change that. Filipino Americans here, mostly who don't know Tagalog or Filipino, bandwagoned and adopted the Philippine-X movement, including the advocacy to help their LGBT friends. It started on college campuses here, which are so into SJW, cancel, change, and everything culture. I think subconsciously the Filipino parents wanted to give them the most comfortable life. They had I suffered in the Philippines, so I don't want my kids to suffer. They felt their lives have been good, that uh, the kids felt that their lives are pretty good and are looking and now start looking for meaning. And that's why a lot of them are depressed and passionate for movements like Philippine X, since it gives them something to fight for. I just want to
What's
share these
his-
perspectives from someone who saw this movement grow on college campuses.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
Grew there. But
yeah. This is what
it's
we were
weird
mentioning earlier. No?
because I guess his generation's like within our generation or the generation after us.
Yeah, roughly the
I
same
have
generation as us.
been in. He mentioned Virginia. I lived there for like almost 4 to 5 months, and the community I was with are Filipinos who moved there and had Filipino American kids or grandkids.
Right.
I have no idea how those generation are doing in the Americas, like our generation. But from those who moved just straightly from the Philippines, my tito and tita, our household, we
titics.
talk. Yeah, our titics. Wait, did he mention that? Why did he not mention that stupid like page about BLM for Philippines, right?
Because
I guess
For
he's just
BLM.
buying the whole.
that's a
I
meme
think he
page.
knows it's a
It's
joke
a
thing.
page,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think he knows it's a joke thing. Thank God. Um,
I gue-
it's a good perspective because even there in the Americas, the Filipino community or the Filipino American community, you can see that clear divide in generation gap. Because if you were not in the colleges, if you did stick to certain households there, they do still speak Filipino or Bicolano or Cebuano or other dialects when you're a generation before us because there
Yeah.
is a strong Filipino community there. But he did mention Phil Am, so there's already a mixture of Western beliefs plus our beliefs.
Yeah, I think that's something that's true for the different cultures sort of across the board when it comes
Yeah,
to like immigrants in the U.S. Right, like
yeah,
there is a very stark divide between your first generation and second generation and even
yeah.
third generation people there. Like when you talk to a first generation, when you talk to like an immigrant, they have very distinct sort of view,
Ties.
right?
Yeah,
Then their kids, interesting, huh?
way different.
Well, not as different as the next like the generation that comes after them, right?
Yeah,
Because the kids of immigrants still have a lot of that
Filipino.
original sort of culture with them.
Yeah,
Maybe not so much with the Filipino. It isn't as strong, I think.
yeah,
But like once you start hitting that third generation, that's when all bets are off. And I'm thinking that a lot of the Gen Z now, a lot of the Gen Z sort of Filipino Americans are the kids of immigrants.
yeah. I think that's where the Philippines movement is. And if you heard the last episode, it's not like we're condemning the Philippines thing, right? We're actually just making light of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm glad he understood that. And it's just interesting because the commenter came from Virginia. And man, I wish I met some of those guys because I was stuck with mostly senior citizens. And I'm like the third generation there.
Whenever Martin goes out for fan meet in Virginia, be sure
Yeah.
to,
Please
you
please
know,
be there.
hit a
I'm
like.
kind of near the yeah.
Or if
I'm
you're in
near the
Brasilia, you might want to buy Martin a beer. Oh no, he doesn't
I
drink. You might
don't
want to buy
drink a
Martin
beer.
like a milk.
No,
A Coke or
I'm lactose
something.
intolerance, man. What
You
the
might
fuck?
want to buy
Soft
Martin a
drinks or
glass of
something.
water.
Ponce queso, ponce queso,
Oh,
ponce
Ponce
queso,
queso.
ponce queso. Come on, it's cheap. It's just $2 here, man. So yeah,
Right.
it's a very nice reader mail. So you got that from our website, or someone just messaged you?
You can email us actually.
Oh, it was an email.
No, no, no. No.
So where
It
was
was
that, man?
a message on Messenger.
Oh, okay, it's a friend. So hey, if I'm back in Virginia, I'll most likely be in either Virginia Beach or Chesapeake area.
Right.
There's
So
a strong Filipino community there, by the way. But
yeah,
like we said, it's a generation gap. So I'm thinking this friend of yours is younger than us or as old as us.
he's younger. He's younger. He's an immigrant. He's an
20s.
immigrant. He is an immigrant. That kind of
Yeah.
explains it.
That kind of
It's
explains the
it's a
generation
nice
gap.
perspective to have that
Yeah, I
he's
like
giving
that.
us actually. That's
Right?
from
Young.
where they're coming from.
Yes, young.
Yeah, and
And a generation or two removed from the immigration period
it's
from
just
Yeah,
Virginia.
yeah.
it's what struck me
Because,
as interesting from the comment that he gave was in their camaraderie, from his understanding, in their camaraderie with the movement from their Latin friends to with the Latinx movement. A lot of people. Uh, the funny thing struck me there: the is Latinos, the Latin started the movement because of their reach to how sexist the language actually is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Expanding on the movement, actually doing it in church on the Filipino church. Here, discussing the Felix movement when our language is gender, but we understand that it's for comedy. It's just kind of funny.
It's basically it. It just sounds funny.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's not like we're ruining. It's not. We let people enjoy things.
yeah, and
And
I mean,
again,
like,
that's a thank you to the commenter. That's a very good, very
yeah,
good
People
perspective.
enjoy things.
people
Yeah,
enjoy
people
things.
enjoy
We
things.
we
So
actually
long as you,
like to let people enjoy things.
so long as it doesn't give forest fires, okay?
Yeah, like we kind of draw the line at forest fires, don't we?
But let's go back there because me and Norm were talking about this before recording. It reminds me of the like Western thing about extravagance. It's not just them; it's even the East. Like things like the
Yeah.
Sweet 16 parties, things like our debuts, things like a very very extravagant wedding with a same day edit of a video by some like Banwa guy. That kind of thing.
It's oddly specific, but okay.
Yeah, those kinds of things. It's not the
There's an
consumerism at
entire
all.
industry around it, Martin. It's not just one
Yeah,
guy.
it's not just one guy, but it's the guy I get in my head sometimes.
Yeah. Uh,
as a as a person who's going to be married with some of these, and part of that marriage includes some of the um,
Extravagant stuff.
indulgences of extravagance.
Oh my God. Are you
Um,
gonna pull off a laureate, Norm? The last wedding I had in
a
Green
what?
Hills, laureate, like 10 courses of food were like on course number five,
No,
we're
we're not.
already full. Thank God.
No, we're not doing it.
And then
For sake. No, no, no. We're not doing it because like that will be so stereotypical. So we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna have a regular, as much as possible, a regular wedding within
within budget.
acceptable means
yeah.
and budget
In budget.
There's
Let's
and
just
the
remind everybody.
limitations of COVID and whatever the IATF approves, which could be a zero point 0.3 meter distance. Do they understand what zero point 0.3 meters is in public
I don't
transportation?
think
zero
they
point 0.3 meters is
do.
this.
yeah, thing.
Yeah.
It's like roughly 1 foot
Yeah.
away. So it's like you could be shoulder to
So
shoulder,
it's
and you're
like
like, my head is a head, so it's so distancing. We'll
This
see.
is
it's ridiculous.
yeah. Here's my take on it. Right. I get the
Yeah.
feeling that part of why this is a thing is pressure from like jeepney drivers and sort of public transportation
They gotta
operators
work, man.
that haven't been able to fill up their jeeps, right?
Yes, that's true.
This is all right when it's a big American corporation that's being greedy, but when it's a jeepney driver barely scraping by, and the way that they can break even is by filling up those jeeps, by having them go half capacity. You're saying I'm slashing your income in half.
Yep.
So we got to fit more people in there. So this is again that sort of tension between having to reopen the economy and having to be safe from the coronavirus. So like I'm not entirely convinced that this is completely moronic, as bad an idea as it is, because I think part of it has to do with making sure that
Economy.
your jeepney drivers can eke out a living. Because if they double the prices of if they double jeep fares, that's the other way to keep them happy, right? Like you have to
Yes.
keep your jeeps at half capacity, but that's cool. You double the fare. I mean, that's also going to lead to a riot, isn't it? So I don't know. It's quite a bit more complex than I think the internet likes to make it out to be.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's a very it's not an easy problem to fix. But the way they're going about it is kind of worrying. I guess we'll see how it goes. Um,
It is scary, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's yeah,
Public
it's not like
transportation.
COVID's done.
Anybody who's got like half a brain would know that public transportation is kind of scary right now. But not a lot of people have choice, and it's kind of gonna be like a domino effect. I'm worried it could be a domino effect. Like we have public transportation, more businesses are gonna require workers to come in
Yeah.
because there's public transportation. So uh, with more workers coming in, there's gonna be more exposure. So that might happen, but let's see. Hopefully,
Yeah.
everybody stays safe throughout
Yeah.
the thing. Um,
I don't know, maybe it's like my
mhm.
humanities, social science sort of background. But the thing that I find a lot more interesting um, is that sort of interplay when it comes to the effects on like the economy, and say more than the medicine behind this whole COVID thing. That's like I don't know. If that's a good thing. Right? But like things like that. Like it informs my ideas on it informs my take on say that social distancing thing. Like yeah, it's a really bad idea, but at the same time, it's got to be you know it's got to have some sort of benefit to a fairly powerful lobbying group, and my guess is that that's the public transport lobby. Um, towards the beginning of the lockdown here, there was this one barangay that had this big sign outside that said, "If you can't free us, feed us." Right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of sad, right? Because like so many people live in poverty, and the way to pull people out of poverty is to make sure that there is employment opportunity. But then when somebody is a driver, what is the employment opportunity there in a pandemic? So again, it's that sort of interplay there that I find to be so interesting.
Like, what's the pivot here in the entrepreneur mindset? Like, okay, you can't run knees as transportation, so what can you do
Oh,
privately? Like, can you transport goods? Because that's been a thing, right? One of the
yeah,
transport
Yes,
groups has
transport.
tried to hire jeepneys as transportation, and then even some parts of the local government have tried to address that with um, Pasig City, if I remember correctly,
yeah,
early
yeah.
on, hiring tricycle drivers as shuttles instead of trying to figure out how to do the logistics on their own. They're gonna hire tricycle drivers as shuttle services for healthcare workers and some key personnel.
And our
That didn't
national
pan out
government decided to shut
well.
that down. Brr.
Social
Stupid national
distancing,
government.
0.3 meter. So
I'm sure Martin
so
has
there
like
there are
ideas on this
some
too.
there are definitely some good ideas out there that have been tried out. I'm not sure going. I actually think there was one interview I think I saw on TV. But
Which one?
uh, I forget. It was this they were asking this jeepney driver how going or whatever, and saying if they were going to go with half capacity riding schemes, it would still be difficult. It would still be difficult for them to make a decent living because of the increasing fuel prices. And I think that's funny because
Yeah.
the some of our fuel prices are increasing because of new taxes to
Yeah,
fund the
Yes.
COVID efforts. So that's
yeah,
that's kind of a funny connection. But um, one of the safer ways to do it, I guess, would be to find a way to have a safe capacity for
yeah,
running public transportation that also the need for the jeepney drivers day to day.
yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
like,
if that means
Yes.
that they're still going to be privately operating on their own as individuals, as most jeepney drivers are. I'd
You know,
watch.
I'd hate it if I'd hate it though if we had if there was a nationalization of our public transportation,
Hmm.
because the nationalization of industry is a great way to make things crappy. Um, you know, I ordered a package
Yes.
I ordered a package in January, and Philpost still hasn't gotten it here. It's probably gotten lost in the mail. Whereas every other package that I've ever ordered from Lazada or Shopee, which uses a private courier, it has or Amazon has gotten here just fine, right? So you know, the moment we nationalize something, that's the best way to get it to like die. That's why I'm like scared that our government might think it's a good idea to start expropriating the airwaves for internet connections, because I'm not even worried about like censorship and the Great Firewall or
But
whatever. I'm just worried about service getting worse, because governments over and over
no.
again have a proven track record of taking something and making it crap. I mean,
Cross fingers.
that's a terrible generalization, right? But you know, if the Department of Foreign Affairs uses a private courier to get you your passport faster, well, that's pretty damning for our Philippine post office.
Pretty much, pretty much.
You know, so I don't know.
Wait, I think this is a good public to private thing because Norm was talking about this with me a few minutes before recording. It's the interplay between government agencies in America and a privatized group that specializes in employing superheroes. I think it's the series called The Boys.
Oh, dude, how is it?
Oh,
I haven't watched it, but
it's
like I hear it's
amazing.
pretty good.
I heard it's amazing, so I finally after a year. I just saw it on my FB memories last night. I said, "Hey, this looks interesting. I might watch it soon." It took me a year to watch episode 1, season 1. It's
And
pretty fun.
The
It's
Boys
pretty
is
fun.
really good.
It's pretty fun. It's a concept that has been done in the 80s, but not this big. It's like corporate America with superheroes, and most of the superheroes are dicks. That's how the premise is how I see it.
so it's
Norm,
sort of
is
like
that how it is?
I don't know.
You,
Anyway,
you, you know how DC is slowly going grittier and grittier and
yeah.
grittier.
DC.
Uh, yeah, they're just gonna. This one is basically what is DC? What is another superhero world if it's set in contemporary America, and you've got the contemporary American mindset. You've got some heroes who are devout, some heroes who believe that their powers come from God above, some heroes uh, that are actually atheists, and how that economy works is explored in this show. Um, it's actually a comic from what? How many years ago, Martin?
Yeah, from a comic book.
Yeah,
Right.
Almost a
Yeah, yeah.
decade or more because it was talked about to have a film by 2007 or 2008. They were trying to make it a live action movie.
Wait, let me
It was only
let me actually look it up,
serialized into a web series
if
around
there are any people who have
2017.
because
watched The Boys, it's really good.
this is like a
Thumbs
Garth
up.
Ennis thing, I think. Like it's a Garth
Simon
Ennis.
Pegg was supposed to be the main character, but he got too
Yeah,
old for it.
I think so. It's the comic book. By the way, my connection's unstable, so I'm still talking through Audacity. You can still hear me, right, Joao? Just use my
Yeah,
audio
yeah.
tracks.
Sort of.
Okay, sort of, yeah.
It's cool. There, it's based on a comic book by Garth Ennis. I've actually
Yeah.
yeah. Um
2006 and 2008. In a
well,
world where superheroes exist.
so many
It's
like
kind of like a better version of Kick-Ass.
All right. All right.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
okay.
remember the Kick-Ass
Okay.
movie, it's kind of like a better version of that, a more
Curious
thought
to
out
what?
version.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's I really like it that we have so many of these really cool like indie comic book properties making it into like TV shows, and a lot of these like weird sort of
Yeah.
um more idiosyncratic titles kind of having TV series and all of that.
Hmm.
Because like, more than, your simple sort of Marvel DC sort of thing. A lot of really good comic books are from that like indie sort of Image Comics kind of place, right? So yeah, like the boys, there was it wasn't indie, but it was weird, sort of idiosyncratic. There was an iZombie TV show, which was like pretty trippy. That comic book was pretty
Oh,
cool, right?
that was that came from a comic. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, what was it like? There are a bunch.
Huh?
God, the
Like,
the the comic book that was written by the singer of My Chemical Romance.
Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella
yeah.
Academy. Yeah, right. Like all of these comics are starting to get a little bit more love because all of the DC and Marvel stuff is pretty saturated. So a lot of what I think are better stories are starting to make their debuts in more mainstream media, which is pretty cool. Now I'm just waiting for like Jeff Lemire's work to make it.
I'm
So
hoping they
yeah.
can figure out a way
Mhm.
to make Fables into
Yeah,
graphic
that
novel,
Fables.
yeah, Fables is really
because
good.
they're
Is it
they're
like?
they're they're figuring out how to make sense. So Fables guys,
Is
it's
it
really
like
good.
Grim Fairy
Is
Tales?
isn't there a TV show? Doesn't Fables have a TV show?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Is there
Uh,
one? I don't know.
Is by fables you mean Aesop's fables or something else?
No,
No,
it's
no,
Fable
Fables.
Comics. Fables
Yeah,
Fable comics.
from Vertigo,
Uh,
the publisher that I really like because they're really
oh, okay.
generally what they
yeah.
come up with is really good.
I don't think it has. I'm not sure. I'm not
There's
Because
stuff
familiar.
that's
there's
always
a
been in
DC.
development.
What?
There's stuff in development. I know you were saying. Through a DC imprint.
There's a Disney show that's ano yun yung ano what's Once Upon a Time. They do talk about Fables, so baka it might jive. We'll see. But I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to if I have one coming up soon. It's nice. It's Toy Story, but with
So
those,
nice.
the three little pigs
But yeah,
and the big
Simon
bad
Pegg.
wolf.
Joao mentioned this earlier. They wanted Simon Pegg, but he got old. So he got old, but he became the dad of the main character of the TV series for The Boys. I think you saw him, Norm, in the first few episodes of season
Yeah,
one. Simon Pegg as Yui's
and
dad,
if you're
because they draw Yui as Simon Pegg back in 2006 for that series.
a
Or so they
Carlton
said.
fan, he's a big enough draw for. He's one of the main protagonists. So have fun with it.
Yeah,
It's Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. Who
Uh,
and yeah, one of the characters was an actor from Xena Warrior Princess. I think we're talking about the same guy though. Billy Butcher,
Carl
whatever.
Urban was in
Yeah.
Xena Warrior Princess. I gotta look that up. I was
Yes,
like,
he is, man.
what?
He
No,
is.
no. I'm googling it as we speak. Carl Urban,
Zeno Warrior
Xena. No, no.
Yes. He's in New Zealand,
Freaking
my friend.
Xena.
He's in New Zealand. He was part of that.
Oh my God, that's him.
That's
He was
him.
Cupid.
Yeah. He was Thin Guy Fairy before going to Flavor town.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was Cupid. Yeah, like what?
He is Cupid.
I remember this. He was so stupid there.
Oh
I
man.
can't watch the boys with this in my mind now. Lucy Lawless kicked your ass. All right.
All right. I was today years old, right? So yeah, Joe, you gotta watch this.
Speaking of unnecessary expenditures, did you know this one couple that had this gender reveal by lighting up the Burj Khalifa?
Huh.
Apparently they paid like $95,000 for it.
What? What's a Burj Khalifa? Is that like Wiz Khalifa?
It's a tower.
The tallest building in the world in Dubai. The thing
Yeah.
that
They had it light
Tom
up
Cruise
for
went up for Mission Impossible.
They had up for a gender reveal, and they paid
At least it,
$95,000 for that thing.
but did it burn?
95K.
But did it burn? Just the money.
No. There's
Just the
Just the
money.
it's the desert, Martin. There's
Yeah.
just the money.
Just the money. Yeah, unnecessary spending for a PP reveal. Come on, guys.
They should call it a PP reveal
Yeah, because we can't say
because you can't say
junk
sex reveal.
yeah or
Is
something
it?
like
Is
that.
it not?
Yeah, I guess. So yeah,
All right, guys.
reveal.
If we do anything with this podcast tonight, it's gonna be like switch gender reveal to PP reveal.
PP
Yeah,
reveal, or ex Titix reveal. I don't know.
Actually, dude, we should call it a Titix reveal.
Oh shit, Joe.
Virginia.
Oh shit, Joe. Advance happy birthday,
Sorry,
man.
John Carter.
Wait, is it your
It's not for a couple.
October?
Really? Is it?
No, dude,
couple of months?
couple months.
Oh crap! This
Really
COVID.
Well,
Oh.
you know.
We've lost all sense of time.
Yeah.
Time is no longer a
Time is-
construct that
Time
we
is not a
value.
constructicon.
What are
or this
weekends? What are weekdays?
devastator.
Yeah.
What are weekdays? Oh gosh. It's weird because I know next week I won't be part of this thing because I'll be stuck in another Zoom webinar. Thank God for Zoom webinars. It's so cheap. We don't burn money for unnecessary travels. We just
You can-
make it on Zoom.
So now you can use all of your money to buy that goat head.
Yes.